Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Entrepreneur, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Rideshare. And I know people don't like me discussing the format before the show starts, but I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. There is a lot to discuss today. I have no idea whatsoever how long this episode is going to be, but it's going to be a long one. So either buckle up and strap in for the long haul, or you can check the timestamp below and jump straight to the stories that you want to hear about, because wow, just wow, Uber seemed to blow up today, and we're going to be talking about almost nothing but Uber today. And in fact, there is even a possibility some stories might have to carry into a special episode tomorrow on e-commerce Saturday. But in the meantime, let's just jump straight into the stories. And the first story we got to talk about today is this headline that got a lot of people really upset, but not as upset as the forced time breaks after 12 hours. So that's why we're discussing it today and not yesterday. And that is Uber CEO said that it could be profitable, it just doesn't want to be. Because, believe it or not, that actually is a real thing. But is it real? Let's look at this article. Uber CEO Derek Hay said on Wednesday that the company could be profitable if it cut expensive parts of its business, such as operating in developing markets and autonomous vehicle research. Yeah. You think? Quote, I'm pretty darn confident that we can turn the knobs to get this business, even on a full basis, profitable if we wanted to. But you would sacrifice growth and you would sacrifice innovation in an enormous category. Yeah, because the flying car is such a reality. It's such a near-term reality. Where we are now as of Q4 is the developed markets. The contribution from the developed markets essentially pays for the overhead of the business, all right? Now, I include two things, and there are a lot of money for those two things. One is the amount that we are investing in developing markets. That's a significant negative, but that is an optional investment for us. By the way, we think it should be on. It's going to be on for a while, right? That gets us negative, he said. And the big bets, autonomous, etc., also increases the negative. But if someone says, forget about all this stuff, all I want is to core and just sell all this stuff or stop investing in all this stuff, you would have a business that is for a quarter was cash flow break even. Now, here's the thing. So the long and short of it is like expanding into other markets and investing in autonomous vehicles is what's draining Uber's resources. Now, here's the thing. If I were a businessman, and I'm not, I invest in stocks and stuff, my personal suggestion would be scale back on the autonomous features. Keep developing them because there might be something there in 5 to 10 years, but they're not going to be here in 2 years. You need to be profitable now for your, soon-to-be shareholders. I would cut off the flying car altogether because that's just a waste of money. As for burgeoning markets, well, I would start getting partnerships with some of those markets and keep investing in them, but maybe not so much. And of course, raise the prices, which include a rate increase for us, which I know they will not do. But yeah, you raise the prices, you scale back. That's how you become profitable. And those are some hard choices that the CEO is going to have to make because according to this LA Times article, well, Uber lost $4.5 billion last year. Now, I know they just got an influx in cash, but that's not going to help them along. And of course, the frustrating thing is they lost this cash while they grew. According to the article, ride-hailing giants' full-year net loss widened to $4.5 billion in 2017 as the company endured a tumultuous year that included multiple scandals, a lawsuit alleging the theft of trade secrets, and the replacement of its chief executive. The results also showed that Uber cut its fourth quarter net loss by 25%, with the third quarter as new CEO Derek Hay moves to make the company profitable in advance of an initial public stock offering planned for sometime next year. The full-year loss grew from $2.8 billion in 2016, a year with results skewed by a gain from the sale of Uber's unprofitable business in China. Uber also said its U.S. ride-hailing market share fell by 82% at the start of the year to just 70% in the fourth quarter. Gross revenue for the year was $37 billion, a jump of 85%. So they are making $37 billion and still losing almost $5 billion. Those are the kind of numbers that makes you go, what? Although if there is some good news for Uber, it's that they are actually working for once with regulators for better safety measures in order to keep their London license. According to Reuters, Uber introduces new safety features as it fights to retain London license. Taxi service Uber battled to retain its license to operate in the British capital, said on Friday it would introduce new safety features, including 24-hour telephone support for riders and drivers. Boy, wouldn't that be nice to have here. The app said it would review all previous year's complaints and from next month give riders across Britain the license number of the driver of their booking confirmation in electronic receipt. Now that's that's kind of a bad one. I think Uber should provide a unique identifier for each driver. So if there is a serious complaint, someone can make that complaint and Uber can help with the police by giving out personal driver's license information. I mean, I don't know about Britain, but over in America, you can find out a lot about someone's personal life just by that. It's kind of like their phone number and their social security number. You just don't want that information out there. It will also report any serious incidents to police itself rather than leave to the individuals involved, which they should have been doing in the first place. Uber is appealing against Transport for London's decision to strip of its operating license in September of last year. So definitely some mixed feelings. 24 hours phone support, very good. Reporting incidents to police themselves rather than leaving up to the individuals, very, very good. Giving out the driver's license numbers, I'm hoping that's a typo. I hope that they just mean the business license number, which is a very different thing, and that would be okay in my opinion. But personal driver's license, that opens up the drivers to some fraudulent activity should they give a ride to a rider who claims a serious offense to get the driver's license number and then uses that license number to pry into their personal lives. That, I think, is a very slippery slope. The problem for Uber is that even with all of those improvements, or at least perceived improvements, there's at least one that the Transportation for London really harps on, and this has been a controversial one. It's such a big deal that a whole rideshare company was set up just to address this issue, which was CJ & Go, and they folded a couple months ago. But London wants there to be an option so that passengers can call only female Uber drivers. According to the article, Uber and other ride-sharing apps have been urged to offer women-only cars in London by the Transport Authority. The suggestion is outlined in a policy statement issued by Transport for London. The move could affect services such as Uber Pool, which lets consumers share a car with strangers. The policy statement said operators should allow passengers to choose whoever they share vehicles with, e.g. women-only vehicles. It said they should establish how passengers might be able to decide before accepting a ride. The idea is listed under section of improving customer safety. Now, I am, of course, not opposed to this. I actually have encouraged something like this for a while because, yeah, if, some people don't want a man and some people, and vice versa. So, I think that is a need. Will they do it? That is another matter altogether. Because if Uber and Lyft do this, and it has been called for a long time, that somewhat suggests that there is a safety problem that they are not addressing. Also, it does beg the question, well, if the passengers can start dictating what kind of people they want to pick up, why can't the driver? The female drivers of Ubers, do they get to stipulate they only want to pick up women as well? I don't know. I mean, I think, there should be full customization for who you want to pick up and everything, but then that definitely interferes with Uber and Lyft's ability to match up with whoever they want you to match you up with, and they don't like that idea one bit. Oh, I almost forgot. Remember how Dara was originally saying how he was going to continue to invest in other marketplaces and just, early in the video? Well, here's the thing. Even though he insisted that he was going to do that, and even though SoftBank has encouraged Uber to not get out of the Asian market, Uber might actually be, doing the exact opposite of both those things in order to save some money. According to Reuters, Uber plans to sell Southeast Asia to Grab, which is a ride-sharing service over there. He said Uber Technologies is preparing to sell its Southeast Asian ride-hailing business to Singapore-based Grab in return for a substantial stake in the company, CNBC reports, citing two sources familiar with the matter. No deal has been reached yet, and the timing of any deal is uncertain, the report said. Reuters confirmed November that SoftBank Group's multi-billion-dollar investment in Uber had opened up the possibility of combining it with other ride-hailing assets that the Japanese group owned. Uber declined to comment on the report. And so that, of course, is just another instance where Uber entered a market. They didn't dominate the way they could here, so they got out of it. Switching gears ever so slightly in today's episode, if there's one thing Uber is good at, it's introducing new, cheaper services for you, the consumer. And if you are you are definitely in for a treat because they are testing a cheaper hurry service for errands. According to Reuters and Business Insider, Uber is testing a service in Nairobi that was inspired by residents' use of the platform for errands and aims to tap into a new segment of the city's active ride-hailing market, a regional executive said on Monday. Amid the minibuses, safaris, 4x4s, taxis, and Ubers on the roads of Kenya's capital, tiny boxy Suzuki Altos are popping up. They're emblazoned with stickers reading Uber Chap Chap and a slogan in Kiswahili, I hope I said that right. That translates as, alright, faster, save money. That offers exactly what 24-year lawyer Brian Ruigi said. He clicked the new Chap Chap option on his Uber app last week, and he noticed that his short trip to deliver documents to a client would cost 100 Kenyan shillings, $1 less than with the standard Uber X. Quote, "It was a bit cramped. For the price you're paying, it doesn't really matter," he said, adding that he intends to use Chap Chap for trips downtown and in adjacent neighborhoods where it is available during the pilot. Now, this, of course, has me concerned that it's eventually going to come here, because here's the thing. It is true that a lot of people use Uber for very, very short trips. They just want to go down the street, and I hate these rides. In fact, full disclosure, if you do this, I'm sorry, I don't care how nice you are, you're going to get dinged in the star grade, because I am losing money on that trip. Especially if it takes me longer to get to you than you're actually driving, then guess what? You're getting a low star grade. It's just the way it's going to be, and I'm very sorry that that's how it's going to work, but it's true. And if this is successful over there, then Uber will probably try taking it here. And of course, one of the problems with that is people will start selecting the option. Now, on the positive side, if it is introduced in America and it's under a certain title, then we know it's going to be a short trip, like an extremely short trip. Then, you know, we can opt out of it. So actually, maybe this might be a good thing. Who knows? I'm going to hold reservation until we A, see it in America, and B, see how it actually is implemented, because this could be good or bad depending on the circumstances. And the final story today, because even though there's more to talk about, I'm getting exhausted, and as I record this, I'm a little concerned about the video quality because I'm seeing some stuttering, but I guess we're just going to have to risk that. But an ex-Uber VP got $15 million for his new electric scooter startup, and it's already run into legal problems. Just to show all those people who email me like, why don't you start your own startup? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Startups are not easy. They sound easy, but they're really not. According to the article, an electric scooter rental startup led by former Uber and Lyft executive that has sparked a legal battle in Santa Monica, California, has landed $15 million funding to expand across the U.S. Bird is a startup that lets customers rent dockless electric scooter, or birds, with the tap of an app, and then they leave them on the street when they're done. It first launched in Santa Monica, the ocean-facing city near Los Angeles, in September, sparking disruption, hundreds of traffic stops, and a criminal complaint against the startup and its founder. The startup has since expanded to other neighborhoods in Los Angeles County and San Diego, and on Tuesday announced it raised $15 million in venture capital funding led by Craft Ventures to support its expansion throughout the U.S. Okay, so that's great, but what's the problem? Well, let's go down here. By the way, that's what it looks like. You know, I'd probably use it if it was available. Who knows? The first the mayor of Santa Monica heard of Bird scooters was when Vander's agent sent him a message on LinkedIn after the company launched. The Washington Post previously reported, and the city has since filed a criminal complaint against the startup over its failure to obtain a permit. Yep, permits. Those things that are super expensive that people tend to only get after the fact. These scooters literally just began showing our streets last fall, Santa Monica's director of policy, Aju Gupta, told the paper. The challenge is that they decided to launch first and figure it out later. Huh. Sounds like something a former Uber and Lyft executive would do, now that I think about it. Asked if he thought Bird made mistakes with its launch, Vander's agent answered carefully, quote, "Our approach is to work with cities very early on in the process, so we reached out, started a dialogue with Santa the week we actually launched. Anytime there's new innovation, there's never clear exactly where you fit into the permitting and regulatory scheme. In the last month, we made a ton of progress working with the city of Santa Monica. Santa Monica is an environmentally friendly city. I think ultimately we all agree Bird is a good thing for the city." And that's true, but the problem, as the article continues, and of course all these articles are linked to below, is that they didn't get necessarily permission to launch the business, and they're leaving these scooters at random places. I think Bird is eventually going to have to build these docking stations where people can go to designated spots for the birds, and you pick them up or you drop them off there, and that will probably resolve a... By the way, folks, before we move on with today's episode of the Daily Rideshare, here's the birds. Here they are, just sitting here. That's what they look like We're in West LA, so they exist. And that's where we're going to end today's episode of the Daily Rideshare. What do you think about any of these stories? Do you agree with them, disagree? Do you have any additional concerns? Was the video quality good? I'm a little concerned about this episode. If it's not, I'll try to fix the problem next time. In the meantime, comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy the videos I make, consider becoming a Patreon member for a little $1 a month. And as always, flame responsibly, and I will see you later on the Daily Rideshare. Have a good one.